Good afternoon, YouTube. I know it's been quite a while since I put any videos up, so I'm out here this afternoon. I'm going to try and make a few before I head off to school this next week. Today we're going to be talking about two auto darkening welding helmets, the Jackson Truesight and the Miller Digital Elite. Both of these helmets are great helmets. I would recommend either one of them. I've actually used the Jackson helmet just a little bit more. That was the one I used at work for the last couple months, and it's a great helmet. But I also have this Miller Digital Elite. These are both in the same kind of price range, around the 300 mark, and they're both great helmets. We'll start with the Jackson, and I'll talk a little bit about it. First off, it's got all these different features here. Easy buttons. You can work them with a gloved hand. Adjust your shade, sensitivity, delay. You've got torch mode, which is shade like 5 through 8. Weld mode, and then of course grind mode. One thing I really like about this helmet is this huge viewing window here. The headband's kind of in the way. Another thing I like about it is Jackson's headgear. I started with Jackson headgear and I've always just kind of liked it. This helmet also has a really lightweight design shell, which is a good thing, because the one complaint that I do have with this helmet is the lens itself is just a little bit on the heavy side. If you're wearing it all day, it just kind of gets a little heavy, especially if you're jumping around. It'll want to kind of drift down on you a little bit. But all in all, it's been a great helmet. As far as protective lenses go, they have their own custom shape one. But with the Jackson helmet, you can get away with using the cheap generic square ones. Let me pop this lens out and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. The inside lens, not something you have to replace a whole lot, but occasionally you do have to replace that. This one has 4 arc sensors, one in each corner. It runs on 2 AAA batteries and has a solar panel. I just changed the batteries in this after about 6 months of welding, and that's being on all day. And then here is the clear plastic pieces that I'm talking about. So you can see here on the front of this one, I actually have a cheap generic, like 86-cent cover lens. If you cut the corners like this, then you can get away with using them in this. This is actually the one that Jackson recommends. These ones are, I think, like $3 a piece. So if you're switching them out a lot, it's nice to be able to use the cheap ones. If you're not switching them out a lot, it's not really that big of a deal. But that's that. Another thing that I really like about the Jackson helmet is this lens will actually pop into any of their helmets. When I say any, I'm not exactly sure if it will fit into any of them, but I know that it'll fit into the HSL 100, which is just like a basic helmet. This helmet's a lot heavier, so I don't generally use it. The plastic shell's got a lot more weight to it. But nevertheless, that's a nice feature if you're on a job and you want to be able to have a backup helmet per se, because generally if something's going to break, there's a pretty good chance it's going to be in this headgear somewhere. So with that being said, you wouldn't be out of an auto darkening helmet. You just have to switch out shells and then you'd be good to go and keep on welding. But this shell right here weighs virtually nothing. So that's just a little bit about the Truesight. I've used it inside, outside, on a lot of different things and never really had any trouble with it. I've welded anything from extremely thin gauge stainless, we're talking like 10, 15, 20 amps, up to 5/32 70/24s where you're running about 180, 190. So you got that adjustability, the sensitivity. You can get it set how you want it very easily with these buttons on the back. Yeah, that's pretty much the Jackson right there in hindsight there. And then we'll move over to the Miller Digital Elite, which also is a very nice helmet. We'll start with the front here. This clear plastic lens, actually, you have to buy the ones from Miller. I'm not sure exactly what they run. I haven't bought any in a long time. But again, you can see we've got 4 arc sensors, and yeah, this plate's a little dirty. It's about time to replace it, but it still works. On the inside here, you got a little bit smaller viewing window, but still plenty big to do whatever you need to do. I like this screen, but I don't at the same time. It's really nice, big, easy to read, very easy to adjust everything in terms of shade, sensitivity, and delay. But at the same time, I don't like it how it has this screen, because a lot of times when you're welding, you'll get weld splattering behind your helmet, and I'm not real sure how that would hold up to it. This one has several modes as well. You've got weld mode, cutting mode, grind mode, and X mode, which actually senses electromagnetic pulse rather than the light. So if you got your head stuck down in some tubing or something like that and you're blocking the sensors, you're not going to get blinded. What else is there to say about this? One thing I do like about the Miller helmet over the Jackson is the cutting mode. When you're on torch cut mode, actually it flashes clear into the shade 5, so you're not looking through shade 5 the whole time, only when you hit the lever and you start cutting. That is a really nice thing I like about this helmet. The headgear on it is nice. I don't like it as much as I do the Jackson, because it's kind of got like notches in here, so it doesn't slide down as smooth. But again, this helmet weighs a little less, and I think it's balanced maybe just a little bit better. The headgear, they have these big cushy bands you can get, all the way around the front, which is really nice, and I like that. Miller actually just recently came out with a new headgear, and a guy at work had one. I tried it on. Really comfortable. There's a lot of pivots and different things like that in it. I'm not sure how that'd hold up to everyday use, and abuse. But I know this headgear's held up pretty well. Like I said, I haven't used this helmet probably as much as I have the Jackson helmet. But I normally leave this one at home and use it here in the shop for personal stuff. As far as the clear plates go, see if I can do this with one hand. You've got this piece. I'm going to set the camera down. You've got this piece that snaps off, and then you can see in behind here you have your clear plate. Miller has this kind of rounded one, probably just so you have to buy their plates, I'm guessing. That's normally how they do it, but it's just a little rounded piece. Then you can see here you've got the lens with solar backup. This one takes some other kind of battery, I think. I've never had to change the batteries in this. I think it takes little watch batteries, so not quite as easy to replace, but a little more lightweight. All in all, I'm really happy with both of these helmets and would recommend either one to anybody. If I had to choose one over the other, I would probably pick the Jackson. Maybe that's just biased because I've used it more and had it in a lot of different situations. You can see this helmet's taking some abuse. That happens, so don't get one that you don't plan on getting dirty, because it's going to get dirty. But like I said, both helmets are great helmets. If you guys have any questions about either of these two helmets, and I might be able to help you, just leave a comment at the bottom of this video, and I'll do my best to help you out. But that being said, I think that's about all there is to talk about with these two helmets. So please comment, rate, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.